What's going on, YouTube family? CEO here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight for a pretty short lake breakdown. We're actually going to go out to the very far east side of Texas. Actually, we're going to share it with Louisiana here, and we're going to go out to Caddo Lake tonight. This one was interesting. Not a lot of fluctuation in the water levels and things like that. Not a ton of stuff I could find, so that's why it's a little bit shorter video, but I still wanted to share it with you and get your thoughts. Let's go. Let's jump into it. If you've ever joined any of my lake breakdowns before, you know the first thing that we do is we come into the Texas Park and Wildlife page and see what this lake is all about. So as I mentioned in the introduction, we're actually talking about Caddo Lake. Caddo Lake is located on the Big Cypress Bayou on the Texas and Louisiana state lines. You can see here part of this lake is actually in Louisiana and part is in Texas. It was impounded, looks like in 1941. Or sorry, 1914, then it was replaced. The dam was replaced in 1971. So, some interesting things about this lake. It really doesn't draw down a lot. There wasn't a lot that I could really share with you guys. So I'm actually kind of interested to see what kind of feedback I get off of this breakdown because it was so different. This is such a different lake. Definitely a lot different than anything else that we had fished so far that we broke down so far. So you can see here fluctuation says 4 to 8 feet. I didn't really see that much fluctuation in the Google Earth images that I was able to get. It says the clarity is moderately clear to stained. I'd say it's a little more on the stained side. Lots of aquatic vegetation. You're going to see that here pretty soon. And as far as predominant fish species go, largemouth bass, crappie, catfish, chain pickerel, white and yellow bass, and sunfish. You can see down here that the largemouth bass is actually excellent in this lake. And then you can see the other ones. Let's go and see if we can look at lake records really quick before we get out of here. And let's just see what the largemouth bass, wow, 16-pound bass on March 20th of 2010 caught with a Senko. That's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Let's move over to Google Earth and let's see what we can find. Well, here we are on Google Earth. And like I mentioned, Caddo Lake is something that's a lot different than anything else that we've really been breaking down. So you can see here, I've got a lot of different tracks that are out here on this lake, not really a lot of waypoints. And the reason for that is when you draw the lake down, you really can't pick up much on this lake. There really isn't much to really point out to you guys. So this is going to be more of a vegetation type lake, I would imagine, and really working on, the lines, the corners, and stuff like that, that you can really take advantage of. And I'm sure there's probably cypress trees and all kinds of cool stuff. This place just looks awesome from a fishing standpoint. It's just probably one of the more tougher lakes that I've ever tried to break down. So let's look over here on the left-hand side. I've got everything broke out over here. You've got the ramps. There weren't too many ramps on this lake. There's only a few. Well, I shouldn't say a few, a little more than a few, but you can see there weren't a ton. And then we've also got channels. Now, there was really some main creek channels that I marked in here, and there was a lake back here too that we'll talk about and some other stuff. But that was the main channels that I could find as far as where the water was at, and then ditches, like all kinds of ditches and things to find. I don't know if these are boat lanes that are out there possibly, or if they're just weed lines that are really obvious, and they actually create like really good ditches. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Also, lakes and ponds. There's a lot of ponds and little lakes off to the side. Usually, if you can find those little places, that's where you can find a little bit more of the clearer water. So I definitely wanted to point those out to you guys. And then just debris and cover. There's hardly any debris or cover over here. Most of it was all the way over here on the Louisiana side when you get around this bridge and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump into this and let's talk about it. Again, no offshore stuff on this because this lake really is not very deep. The entire lake is pretty shallow. So wasn't really a lot that I could show you guys from an offshore standpoint. So that's what I mean. This lake is very unique. So I definitely would like to hear your feedback on this one. Let me know. It's a kind of lake that I've never really had the opportunity to fish, so I might be totally missing the mark here. But let's go ahead and break it down, at least from my viewpoint, and see what you guys think. So let's go ahead and just start over here. And we're going to start right around this bridge. We'll work our way up and around, and I'll just kind of point out to you guys what I found. So as soon as we get up here, the first thing I want to do is let's go up here to the timeline, and let's move this back. And we're just going to draw the lake down and see how far we can get it to go down. So this is the image from 2018. That's actually higher than we just saw. That's 2016. That's 2014. And then 2012. and you can see 2010. So right there, you can kind of see the problem. There's not a lot to see there. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go back over here, and we're gonna have to figure out which one of these is the best, because that didn't help me out at all. So we're gonna go to 2012. 2012 is pretty dry up in here. How about 2014? Let's see what it looks like. Looks like 2014 is going to be probably one of our best images. All right, so let's go back over now. Sorry for all the back and forth. It's hard to find the right year on this one because, again, this thing just does not fluctuate that much, and that's why I wasn't able to show you guys too much. So right here, we've got a ramp. We got another ramp that's over there, maybe some rock around those ramps and things. Not a lot going on over here. There was a little bit of a debris that you can see over here. Let me see if I can draw that back to get that moss off there. 12 doesn't do us any good. How about 16, 18? There we go. You can see here is just a little bit of debris, maybe some laydowns or something, maybe an old dock or something like that, but definitely something to check out and kind of fish around. And then really when you get over here, I didn't see too much. There's a couple more ramps, obviously all kinds of cover and stuff to fish and things like that. You know, if it was me, I would fish these cypress trees and things that you see out here. I would fish the isolated ones, the ones that are out by themselves. Or like if you get a group of them here, fish this line where it makes more of a line, or fish the outside edges of them, stuff like that. That's really probably how I would approach this. But I really like to get some feedback on this one because, again, not a lake that I would even feel comfortable fishing, but I would love to go down and figure it out. So we also got a ramp right here as well. I'm going to draw that back a little bit because I think we can get it a little bit lower than what we're seeing on the image when we go to here. So a ramp right there that you could try out. Another ramp that's over here as well. Again, just all kinds of awesome tree lines, shallow cover, shallow stuff to fish. This little group of trees out here all by itself, that might have some potential, or maybe these little groups that are out here. You've also got some riprap down here by the dams, kind of hidden back here, but there actually is some down there. And then as you move up, there's not too much. I think that could be a ramp there that I missed. Looks like it is. So you got a ramp that's over there as well. And then just not too much. I found a little bit of debris over here by this ramp. There was some debris over here off these docks. It looks like these docks have basically broke down and stuff. So you'd have some pretty good opportunities to flip around some stuff there. But look at all these isolated trees. I mean, just this place looks epic for sure. And then moving over here, coming off this, obviously a main point, you'd want to fish around the point if we were talking offshore. So you'd fish here. This says Rocky Point, so maybe there's some rock off that point possibly. Couldn't really tell from Google Earth. There's another ramp that's over here. And really, when you get up here, guys, it's just a ramp, and then you've got a creek channel that's way up here that if you could get back in here, you could actually get into it and see it. There's a pretty decent little creek channel there that you could follow. And if you were doing that, obviously you want to fish around the bends, really focusing on those corners and things like that. I think you'd have some success there. But look how gnarly and crazy this is. I'm not sure. Hopefully they've got some boat lanes out here for Caddo Lake. That'd be nice to know if they do or not. So we're going to move over here. We're going to get back on the Texas side. There's the boat ramp. And then this is really what I wanted to show you guys. So looking at this again, I couldn't really find a lot of stuff for you. I can't point out laydowns. I can't find rock. I can't find all the stuff that normally I could find for you guys. But one thing that I did notice is that when you draw the water down, you can really tell where the defined lines are that are out here. And again, these could be boat lanes. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, but they're definitely defined. So I marked all of them for you guys. The ones in the orange, those are probably going to be either the boat lanes that are out there, or they just happen to be like canals that are dug out or something like that. But whatever they are, they're providing some pretty good lines in all of that cover. So I marked all of those lines for you guys. And then the ones that you see in the blue, those are going to be lakes or old ponds, things like that. So you've really got 3 or 4 of them here. You've got one right here. This green line is your main river channel or creek channel, whatever you want to call it. Probably be your river channel here. So this would be your main river channel. So obviously fishing around that's going to have a lot of luck. And then if you get over here, this might be where you get into some of that clear water because this was an old lake that's right here. There's also another one that's over here that could potentially have some clear water as well over in this area. You've got a couple more right in here, some real deep spots, probably old ponds or old lakes that are in there. So some really cool stuff. And then if you're following the main creek channel up or river channel, you can follow it here and then it kind of splits. You've got one that goes to the left side that goes all the way up in here. And again, there's another pond that's back in there. And it looked like when you brought the water up that you may be able to get back there. I couldn't tell if you could or not, but you might be able to. And then the rest of this is really just another main creek arm that ran around through there. There was another one that came down through here. So I marked them all for you guys. And then when you get up here, again, this could be where you start finding maybe some clear water. It looks like this used to be Clinton Lake, and you can see where I just kind of drew the outline of where this lake used to be. And I think fishing in that area, in that vicinity, that should be more of a high percentage area as long as the water's up and all that good stuff. And then just moving down here, we got another pond. Got the river channel back here, and then you've also got a ramp that's over here. So again, guys, not a lot to cover for you guys on Caddo Lake, but I did put this out on the website. And someone actually bought the card, and then they were a little bit disappointed because it didn't have all the points that I normally put out there. So I apologize for that. I actually pulled it from the website, but now that we've got this video up and you guys can see what I actually have out there, if you do want it, it'll be out there on simplisticfishing.com. And again, give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys see. Maybe I missed something here. Maybe I'm missing something that I really need to figure out. So I'd like to hear from you guys. If you can, let me know. And until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.